Okay. Good to go. Okay, I'd like to call this public committee of adjustment hearing to order. This is the public hearing as required by the Planning Act to hear the applicant Lindsay Sibley, Don West Construction, and every other person who desires to be heard in favor of or against the application for a minor variance permission from the zoning bylaw respecting 187 Walter Street, lot 45. Now, the first hearing for this application was held on Tuesday, May the 24th, and the committee asked to reconvene at this time. So does any member of the committee have a disclosure of pecuniary interest? Hearing none. If the applicant or agent is listening on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, please click the raise hand icon if you have called into the meeting using your telephone. If you're using your telephone, please dial *9. We will acknowledge your raised hand and you can unmute to explain your application. If you could please, do we have online, Mr. Perry?
No. Is in attendance with respect to this application.
Okay, Ms. Secretary Treasurer, what method of notice and when was notice given of the public to the public of this hearing?
Mr. Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on May 25th, 2022. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff as well as the municipal website, and notice was displayed in the weekly CBuzz advertisement.
Thank you. Our planner is not in attendance this evening, but Mr. Perrin, is there any comments on this application?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I can advise that there is an addendum report subsequent to the previous report on the agenda for the committee's consideration. It's our understanding that Ms. Sibley met with the adjacent landowners and there was a minor revision to the orientation of the house on the property. The north setback remains the same at 4 feet. The southerly setback has actually increased from what was previously applied for by an additional 2 feet, putting the actual setback at approximately 6 point. I'm sorry, just bear with me here. I'm doing more than one thing. 6.8 feet, which is an additional 2 feet from what was previously applied for. All the other minor variances that were originally applied for will remain the same. Substandard lot configuration to recognize the existing lot of record, as well as the rear yard setback remains the same as what was originally applied for, and the percent coverage remains the same as what from what was originally applied for as well.
Okay, thank you. The 1.5 feet that was increased on the north limit, south, could you just read?
The north limit originally applied for was 4 feet, the north limit. And on the south property line, the original setback that was applied for 6.34 feet, and that's been increased to 8.34 feet.
Okay, thank you. So the setback is now 8.34 feet.
That's correct, and that's or 8.39 feet. That's captured in the Ms. Wilson's notice of decision.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other municipal staff that has comment on this application? Seeing none. Ms. Secretary Treasurer, have you received any written submissions on this application?
Mr. Chair, no additional correspondence has been received since the first hearing date of May the 24th.
Okay, was there a question, Mr. Perry?
The applicant, Mr. McWhirter, is in attendance in the gallery. I'm not sure if he wants to add anything further to what was previously mentioned by myself with respect to the application. If he does, yeah.
Mr. McWhirter, if you'd like to add a comment, I see your hand raised.
Yes, I'd just like to say I'm pretty sure Lloyd described that perfectly, and hello, everyone. And I would just like to say that in meeting with the neighbors, I think that that was a good step to, explaining everything better for them. And I think the compromise that we came up with works well for everybody. It actually straightens out the driveway with respect to the road. And I think overall it's going to look better anyways. And I think moving forward, I think the lesson to be learned here from my perspective, as well as maybe potentially the municipality, is I think we maybe need to provide a bit more time for the residents to sort of absorb and figure out what these variances mean, because it's very, very difficult. It's easy for us. Sometimes we take it for granted because we know all the definitions and we know all the verbiage, but typically residents don't. And I think that the 10-day period might be a little short.
Okay, thank you. I believe the 10-day, that is what is required, but thank you for meeting with the neighbors to the north and south. At this point, does the committee have any questions about the application? Mr. Perry?
I just want to comment that I was pretty happy that, given the extra time that they did do some negotiation, I'm pretty happy with that.
Mr. Perry?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, you have one raised hand in the gallery from the public.
Okay. Go ahead, Mrs. Bricklaw.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties, so I actually missed the beginning of the description of the change of the variance, what we had discussed. I just want to make it clear before I move forward. What I gather and what I agreed to with Don West was that they align their plan with my house and the road, thus creating a little more space from the 4 feet, a little bit further south. Am I correct in understanding that that's what you discussed before I came in?
Mr. Perry, can you comment on that, please?
Sure. Through you, Mr. Chair. So the 4 feet, that is the minor variance requested on the north side, is still the remaining minor variance that's being sought. However, the northeast corner of the proposed dwelling will be 4 feet off the property line. However, the setback on the northwest corner of the dwelling will be larger. It's actually at 1.68 meters, so approximately 4.5 feet, or actually over 5 feet.
Okay, that I just want to make clear because I didn't hear any of that, and I want to make sure that that was what that I had agreed to. Thank you to Jason from Don West, and thank you very much for the council for giving us some extra time. It's very much appreciated. And I would also like to reiterate the fact that more time is needed. As much as 10 days is following the guidelines. By the time it was only 1 day, I didn't get any of the full information until noon on the Friday, and that gave me 1.5 working day to look at things. And by that time, a lot of stuff had already been submitted. We could have alleviated a lot of this if we had been given a little more time, and maybe the plans had been available when the application was put in, which would be 10 days before the application meeting.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm glad that you were able to meet with the builder at the time, the applicant. The 10-day period that we did follow the guidelines as were required. So I'd just like to thank you and for that comment. Now, is there any other questions that the public may have at this time? No, okay, seeing nobody else from the public. Everyone has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. Does the committee wish to make its decision at this point?
Yes.
Okay. So can we call a vote, please, on the decision?
So just through you, Mr. Chair, as indicated by Mr. Perrin, the decision change in the decision is the 4th point. It goes from 6.34 feet, which was the discussion at your May 20th meeting, and the change is now 8.39 feet. Okay.
You could call the vote, which is a formal vote. If you could call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Cook?
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
Mayor Martin,
Yes.
it's granted.
Okay. Thank you. So that is granted. Those want to be notified of the committee's decision on the application should email Diane Wilson at dwilson@centralelgin.org, indicating which public meeting they wish to be notified on and provide their name and address. Those who do not have access to a computer and wish to be notified should call Diane Wilson at 519-631-4860, extension 286, and provide the same information. This meeting is now adjourned.